Hello and welcome back to a very exciting episode of the Unconventional Creatives. My name is Sandra and this is Tacey from Tableau Creative.
You're about to watch our interview with Ben, who is the founder of Prehistoria. This is a natural history center. We're at 397 Dundas St E in Toronto. While you're here, be sure to click that subscribe button down below, and we will see you guys at the end of the episode. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So the first thing that strikes us when we enter the space is the eclectic nature of the collection. You have a little bit of everything and some live animals too. So we're wondering, how did you start your entry into this field? What was the first thing that guided you here?
When you run a business this odd, your origin story has to match up. So you may assume I got my degree in biology or anything like that, but actually my background was IT. I did a lot of computer work, I was making websites and online stores, and even online multimedia websites before the internet could really handle them. I loved collecting reptiles, like live animals, and I kind of got into doing that on the side of my computer work. And eventually, reptiles led to fossils, led to artifacts, led to becoming one of the weirdest people in Canada.
So we know this space that we're in right now is Prehistoria, which is the Natural History Center, and then you also have an online presence with the Skull Store. So we're wondering which one of those came first.
Yeah, so my retail end of things is the Skull Store, and my education side is Prehistoria. And weirdly enough, Skull Store kind of came first, but under the name Prehistoria. Prehistoria was the name of my fossil online store, but I found it to be really limiting when skulls and animal parts became really the dominant part of what we were doing. So I kind of rebranded as Prehistoria as this fancy sounding name for a museum, and Skull Store was something that was very easy to brand, easy to remember, and there's no way you're going to spell that wrong. So we kind of stuck with that for the online merchandising.
And how do you go about sourcing these items, and what is the criteria that it has to fall under?
Yeah, when it comes to sourcing our inventory, there's a lot of red tape, a lot of concerns, a lot of hurdles we jump through, both in a legal sense and in an ethical sense. We never wanted to be part of the fur trade or, fuel the destruction of the natural world. It defeats the entire purpose of loving conservation and breeding endangered species. So we work with zoos, vets, farms, and natives, about 90% of our animal parts anyway, to make sure we're only salvaging byproducts. Nothing dies to be here, except for our customers. So basically we're the world's creepiest recycling center.
So I guess, do you carry that, or is that education an important part of the guests who come in here? Of course, outside of lockdown times, when you bring people in, is that an important thing for you to talk about?
Yeah, for us, education is the number one goal of everything we do. Retail is the side effect of needing to pay for everything else. Our goal is to build a world-class museum, to propagate endangered species, work with reintroduction efforts, and really help push the knowledge of humanity forward, as well as telling the stories of the past. But we have no government funding. We don't have big, rich donors, so everything we do has to be self-sustaining, and that comes from our gift shop, basically.
And what is the feeling that you hope to incite for people that enter your space?
We want to blow everybody's minds. That's number one goal. We want people to come in and leave changed. There's lots of unique perspectives and stories we don't really get to encounter day to day. In a sense, we're more connected to the world than ever. We've got the internet, we've got telecommunications, streaming services. We can see all kinds of parts of the world we've never seen before, but we're detached. We're more detached than ever, even if we're more aware than ever. We want to break down the barrier of the screen. We want you to come in and leave having held a piece of a dinosaur. We want you to hold a piece of the moon. We want to turn these digital, far-off places into something that's real, something that you can experience, somewhere you can travel to one day as well. Our goal is to basically take the world you see online and make it indisputable and make it tangible.
So we know this place is relatively new. So we're wondering like what your goals are for the future of this space and the online presence and beyond.
Yeah, so for us, we got this beautiful new location. We went from about 1,800 square feet to 8,000. Huge jump for a small business. But we picked an awkward time. Our soft opening of our gallery was the first day of the pandemic lockdown. So although we thought we had lots of new challenges by exponentially increasing our rent, it was kind of balanced out by the foot traffic we had generate from being near Yonge and Dundas Square, the tourism capital of Canada. Instead, we have no walk-in traffic and tons of extra expenses. So, I mean, our goal, once things are safe, is to, have our merchandising and everything going, but we've built a stage. We're going to have constant events. We're going to be doing live animal demonstrations, workshops, tutorials. We're going to bring in astronauts and even teach you about space. This is going to be the hub of kind of the nerdy and alternative community of Toronto when they're allowed to come. But again, our goals are kind of temporary here because, like the true Toronto story, we lost our old location for a rent eviction, and the place we moved into already has a date of demolition. We were given 4 years to be here and then move on. So this is going to be our prototype of the new permanent home, the next century-long residence of our goals and our work.
I wonder, what is like one big misconception that some visitors might have when they look at an object, and what sort of stigma do you hope to bring light to, demystify?
Yeah, so when people walk in, the first thing that people are going to kind of assume is that we've killed every animal you see here. And in effect, we don't want to demystify the concerns that come with animal parts. We want people's first reaction when they see the stuff to be like, this is wrong, and have to explain yourself. Every time you don't ask a question in the animal parts trade, a poacher has paid his bills. So we want people to come in and learn about how things can be done sustainably. We want to show there's a green way to do everything. There's a sustainable way to salvage these products and destroy the illicit market. But we never want people to be completely comfortable with what we sell, because too much comfort led to all the atrocities the natural world is experiencing today.
So if you could speak to your past self, what's one piece of advice you would give knowing what you know today?
It's hard to say what I would tell my past self. In effect, the uncertainty is kind of what led to where I am today. Just not knowing what tomorrow will bring, not having the resources to move with confidence, led me to a lot more planning, spending a lot more time to kind of sit back and survey my surroundings and to adapt. If anything, I would say things are going to get better. I started this business literally wiping my butt with newspaper, and that's not an exaggeration. I had about $100 to spend when I started this off. The poverty line literally was the horizon for me. But I wanted to make this happen, and I did make it happen. I got my online sales to the point where I could afford a storefront, but not a place to live, so I lived in the basement, taped a hose to the sink, and ran down to the basement where I had found an old used bathtub. There was some rough times, but things would get better is what I would say. There was a lot of dark nights back in those days. But honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. It's those hardships and that uncertainty that really shaped the path I'm on and has built a business that can quickly adapt to even a global catastrophe. If I was going to give a piece of advice to any aspiring entrepreneur out there or anyone who's slogging through those first rough years, I would say just don't give up on your dreams, but don't let your dreams be too rigid either. I dreamed to have one of the biggest multimedia websites in the world, and here I am with a museum. In the end, you have to adapt. Don't be afraid to work hard and push for where you want to go, but if your vision is too narrow, the world might change, you may change, you never know where you're going to be. Be willing to see opportunities and go out of your comfort zone, because that's really where you'll find your success.